All right. So good morning, BK Harvey. Is it okay for me to call you BK or do you prefer a
You,
different name?
you can call me Bez. That's what the B
Bez?
part for. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Bez, for getting up on this Saturday morning. I know it's a lot going on. So thank you for doing this. And thank you also for joining the Facebook group. That's how, we became acquainted was through the Facebook group. I know you had posted a couple of posts. I know you also are a writer as well. So, you know, I know we don't know each other well, and so I thank you for agreeing to do this interview. It's not easy for everybody to, want to be on camera and do an interview. So I appreciate you being willing to do this. But just to get us started, can you kind of tell me and those who are going to view this a little bit about yourself, both as a collector, as a writer, as a reader?
Yeah. So as a collector, I have been collecting for I think over 20 years, but it wasn't anything intentional. I love books. So I used to be a big fan and still am of John Grisham. So nonfiction, began reading all his legal thrillers. And then I actually had a meeting on campus where we had Sister Soldier come, and then I was a big fan of her Coldest Winter Ever. I don't know if you remember that. So
Yeah.
I'm checking her books as well. I have her autograph book from when we met. So it has been a while. So it wasn't until recent I became more intentional with the kind of books I collect as well. And as a writer, um, every book I collect and every book I read, it's authors and people that influence me and how I write. So that also plays a role in the books I collect. And as a reader, I do have certain authors that I admire. And even if not, so long as your work interests me. So it can be anything from fiction, nonfiction, if it's a thriller, if it's whatever like genre it is. Like if I read a synopsis or I read any part of the book that I'm like, oh wow, this looks interesting, I'll definitely invest in it and collect it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So I know you mentioned some of the books, like John Grisham. I know you mentioned, Sister Soldier. Would you say those are your most prized books in your collection, or do you have some particular titles that are kind of among what you consider,
I,
some of your most prized books?
oh, I have a lot of price, but one of my top price book is this one here, and as you
Okay.
can see, I have my little treasure in this case here. But it is I'm a big fan of James Baldwin, so
Okay.
I believe I have posted this one on the group.
Oh, yes.
So just to me, having been able to, and I haven't even had a chance to like crack it open. I have read his works, but this one here, it's I don't know if you can see it here, but his signature
Wow.
writing
Wow.
for me, it's like him. It's like having a piece of him, pretty much that he wants
Yeah.
pages in his hands to like sign it. So it means a lot to me and all his works. So that is one of my prized possession.
Which James Baldwin title is that? Is that one?
So this one here is Go Tell It on the Mountain.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
have here, and then where did I put the other one? So this one here is a Franklin Library one, and then I have
Okay.
this one here. So this one here is Eastern Press.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's like Go Tell It on the Mountain, but it is yeah. So I have so people might be like, why do you have like multiple versions of the book, but different publications, different one design and one is not. But that's how much of a fan I am of his work and wanting to just keep a piece of him, like yeah, with me.
Yeah, definitely. And anything like signed by James Baldwin, I mean,
Yeah,
good gosh, that's quite
yeah,
incredible. Did you acquire that from the Franklin Library or did you get it, kind of on the used market? How were you able to
yeah.
get that?
So with this particular one, I got it was during a bid on eBay. So
Okay.
had to like really dig deep in my purse, but I really wanted it. And it's strange because I traveled a couple weeks ago and I went to this quaint bookstore. And
Hmm.
when I went in and I saw how much it was being like priced for, I was like, gosh darn, this is nobody plays for the James Baldwin book. And it doesn't matter what race you are or whatever,
Yeah.
everybody price it based off on who he is, how he impacted the Black community and the world at large with his like wonderful like thoughts. So definitely, for me, it's a major part of my collection. So I make sure I keep it. And then it didn't come with the note from the editors.
Hmm.
So this one here, I had to acquire this separately as well. So
Okay.
I had to go back on eBay, and it took me like weeks to try and find one person that has this in like Michigan. So
Wow.
yeah, so now it's a full set. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I know I don't, fortunately, I don't have any signed James Baldwin, but when you
Yeah.
were mentioning about kind of the price, the one you seen, I mean, I've seen that as well. Like when I've seen anything signed by James
Mm.
Baldwin, I mean, the price is just, astronomical. I don't know if he didn't sign that many,
Thinking
items. You say what?
That's what I'm thinking because I think he didn't sign many, and also how important he was, like historically, also plays a
Right.
role. As like I said, like it doesn't matter what ethnicity or race, because I've found this bookstore in a European-based bookstore, and it was
Hmm.
going for almost $800. So everybody realized who he is and how bad people want his book, and that drives the market up. There are
Right.
some that might not read his work or know much about him, but they know how much a book is worth. So it becomes
Right.
more actional than
Yeah.
folks that have read his work and are book enthusiasts. So like
Right.
yeah, yeah. So I play that role. Like I mean, I love books so much that when I see it like on cracked or on open, I'm like, dude, like it's like just open the book and read it. Yeah.
Right, right, for sure. And he had such like a broad fan base too. I think by him living abroad and in different
Mhm.
countries, I mean, certain authors, especially black authors, of course, may have a strong black audience, but I feel like James Baldwin, whether whatever black, white, he really had a large, so that I think is to your point, even makes his books more valuable because
Mhm.
he had such, a broad fan base. So wow,
Yes.
that's incredible. Thanks
Uh,
for sharing.
Um,
Um,
on that topic, let me see here. I got this one here recently. It's tell me how long the train's been gone. And it's funny when I got this one here, it had someone else's like Polaroid picture in it.
oh wow.
So it kind of like lets you know how the whose hands the book has been through since like the 60s or 70s. And for me,
Right.
this person, I love history. So I'm like, this book must have gone through a lot of hands and all the
Definitely.
to get to my hand. So I definitely have that. I have Going to Meet the Man. And yeah, so it's yeah, the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. Do you know is that one a first edition, the one that you just held
Yeah.
up?
So
Okay.
this here is a first edition. Then I have sorry, I'm just pulling some of these stuff out here. I
No.
couldn't realize my steady today, so I have all my books with me here. But this one here is Going to Meet the Man. Um
Okay.
so this one
Oh,
here is
that's in a good condition too.
it is and it's a first edition. Yeah.
Wow. That's been preserved
Yeah,
nicely.
with the jacket and everything. So that's another thing I try to look for, like the first editions and stuff like that. James Baldwin, I don't mind which edition it comes in, but the ones I've gotten are usually like first editions. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into our next question. I know you mentioned you acquired the signed on eBay. Like, where do you acquire a lot of your books, would you say? What's kind of your method of
Um
acquisition?
has various. So when I first began collecting, and when I began intentional a couple years back, like I used to live in Boston. So
Okay.
Boston has some quaint bookstores, cobblestones, narrow roads, and I came into one. So I began collecting. I have Ernest Hemingway, For Whom the Bell Tolls. I have a
Mm.
lot of vintage books, from the 19th century. So I started off wanting to collect vintage books, like that dates back as far as I could possibly get, and that led towards like where I am right now. So on my shelf, I not only have like books by the black authors. I have American, European, whatever that
Mm.
kind of dates back. So I do have that. So I do frequent like bookstores. I do online base. So I do Mecari. Is it called Mecari? You can sell things on there. Mecari.
Okay.
But
I
they're
have heard of that.
also utilize Facebook Market.
Okay.
Though it's not, there's not much options on Facebook Market. And also utilize right now eBay. It'll
Mhm.
surprise you how much stuff are on eBay.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. That's one
I
of my top places.
Yeah, yes, and I used to use it before, and then I stopped. But when I went back again to be intentional with what I want to collect, I noticed that it's more easier for me to find specific things I'm looking for on
Mhm.
eBay. And you have options to bid, you have options to a bargain and do all that
Mhm.
stuff with the people that are selling the book. So I found this book with W.E.B. Du Bois, Source of Black Folk, and I wanted to buy it. It was signed by him, but it's going for over 2 grand. Like it is, yeah, above my pay grade here. But you can find anything, and you can't
Right.
find a signed W.E.B. Du Bois on anything else. But yeah, so
For
eBay is
sure.
my top one right now.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. That's definitely mine. And I like, eBay has that option where you can also make a deal because I know I've done that a lot with sellers if they have that option where, you can kind of negotiate as you were saying and get it, even cheaper.
Yes.
Um, so I know you mentioned because you have kind of a diverse and widespread collection of books, um um would you say there's a particular focus or do you go in phases in terms of what you kind of acquire or you're kind of open to what you collect or is there a certain thing you kind of look for?
For it has to move me, and I have become very intentional with the ban on books, with the lack of reading and a lot of things. I'm trying to build a collection for pretty much like my family, for my friends, for people that would not have access to these books. And for me, I went through, I love Shakespeare. So I
Mm.
went through a whole bunch of like Shakespeare phase in college. I took a course in college on Shakespeare. And my prof had us go through um some quantitative analysis on all his like plays, and so like anyway, so I'm a big fan of Shakespeare. So I have a lot of his books, his plays. My favorite one, let me see here if I have it around, if I have it here. um my favorite plays by him is Hamlet. So when the recent movie came out called Hamnet, I don't know if you've seen it on Peacock.
I haven't,
I
no.
was ecstatic. I'm like, wow, yeah. So definitely when I have
I'm sorry, you said it's on where?
it's on Peacock.
Oh, Peacock. Okay.
Yeah. So it's called Hamnet. So it kind of like moves me, and I was that awkward kid that loves these kind of plays and things that I know my fellow peers might probably not care much about, but
Hmm.
that is the power of Shakespeare and his like plays and how deep it is. So I did go through that phase,
Hmm.
and right now I'm collecting a lot of like books with Black authors, history. I recently I found this little gem here with Franz Fanon, The Wretched of the.
Mm.
It's a first edition. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so I definitely have that one. I have Kwame Nkrumah
Mm.
as well here. You know, the first president, prime minister of Ghana. So a lot of things like I have a lot, and also Michael Harriot. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so definitely I have that, and just trying to build that kind of like a collection that I would want everyone to read. Ghana must go.
Mm.
So I've been highly intentional. I have go. So for me, it's trying to be very intentional. So because these books are not cheap, and so for me
Mhm.
to spend a lot of money on it, I'm very intentional, and I really love these authors. A lot of people buy it to sell it. There's a lot of like resale going on in the book. So I've read some comments from people asking that do people read books anymore, because the books are usually, unless like you order I recently ordered this book here, which I'm yet to open because it just came in just a couple of days ago, and with work I haven't had a chance. But it is Rise Up with Al Sharpton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
and yeah,
Yeah.
so first signed edition uh,
Wow.
by
And I,
him.
I didn't know that because I have that book, but I have the hardback, when it came out. I didn't know that. Is that a Easton Press or
Yep.
Franklin?
It's
Okay, wow.
Easton Press, and
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, and
so
it's signed. Wow, I
yeah,
didn't that's good. I didn't know that they made that book into a Easton. Wow.
yeah. So
Where
I
were
see
you able to find that from Easton Press or
eBay.
even? Oh, wow. Okay.
So again, like I'm very like not only intentional I am about the titles of the book, but the pricing. Because
Hmm.
whereas someone that will price it for $115 for that book, I'll get it for 50. So
Mm,
it's kind of like mix matching, and that's what I love about eBay with the
right.
pricing. But I do love it, and the recent one just came in yesterday. It is "You Are Not Alone," Michael Jackson's brother, Jermaine Jackson.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, and that's signed too?
yep, by Jermaine.
Wow.
So yeah.
So with that book and the Hal Sharpton, did you already know they had been released by Easton Press, or you kind of just
I,
came across?
I came across it.
Okay.
And the funny thing was that I was trying to look for one with Jesse Jackson, but
Okay.
yeah. So I came across it, and after I purchased it, I'm like, let me go back, and then I'm like, oh snap, okay. I'm like, oh wow. It came after, but that is my next one to acquire with the late Jesse Jackson. But yeah, no, this one here, I love it, and again, it's who these figures are and their
Mhm.
impact in history to civil rights movement to the church and to pretty much everything in the black community. So I'm always kind of like looking either it's political or it's entertainment with Jermaine Jackson and wanting to know more about Michael Jackson based off on this and his upcoming movie that's coming up. So yeah,
Right. You have opened my eyes. Now I'm going to be on the hunt. And as a matter of
yeah,
fact, I don't think I even knew Jermaine Jackson wrote a book,
hmm yeah,
so I'm like shocked not only that you have it, but that I had no idea that he had written a book. So that's
yeah,
incredible. Thank you for sharing. And the CLR James book you held up, I have a
hmm
copy of that, but mine is soft cover. This is my first time seeing what the hardcover looks
yeah,
like, and that's like incredible.
and I
Wow.
believe it's a first edition too. Yeah,
Wow.
1997. Yeah, it's a first edition.
Where is that an eBay acquisition as well?
This one was on Mercury. Um,
Okay.
it's an app I came across just by chance, and then it changed my life. So before I was on eBay, I was on there. So I got some good book deals on there, and then so I shot between there and eBay for the best
Okay.
pricing of the books. Yeah,
Okay. And I'll have to get that web because I've never heard of that. Get that name of that
yeah.
website from you. I've never heard of that before.
I'll,
And
I'll,
that is like, is the platform similar to like eBay where people bid on things and buy, or is it just strictly like a selling type site?
it's like you can bid like you can so it's a buy and sell, and let's say I find a book that I like on there. I will click on the book, and then I if the seller has a book for $50, I can offer 45. So they
Okay.
have a certain threshold that you can lower what you're trying to pay for the book. So if the seller likes that, then they will accept that bid, but then you'll get charged if they accept it.
Okay, gotcha. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't know if you've used it. I've found books also on Etsy as well. I don't know if
Oh,
you've used
I
Etsy
haven't
before.
add that to my list because I do come across it when I'm on Facebook Market and it has the commercial, the little ads. It says
Right.
it's whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I have to add that to my list next.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised because, you know, Etsy kind of markets itself as kind of like a place where like artists kind of sell,
Mhm.
things they created. And of course, it's a lot of that, but there's a lot of people like that sell like vintage and used books
Yeah,
and magazines and
yeah.
things too. And I found some really good deals on there as
I
well.
you know what? After this call, this meeting, I'll definitely be on that. I'm gonna just open an account. Yeah,
For sure.
more the merrier.
I know you kind of, mentioned kind of the next question is about, um, do you have a vision and goal for your collection? What is that vision or goal? I know you kind of spoke on that. You said, you're really collecting for your family and other people to use it. Would you say kind of that sums up, your goal or vision for your collection?
it does, and really, it's very hard to get these books out there. Like you can't go to a library or go to like I live in a town where we don't even have a library here.
Mm,
So they are now they've heard the voice of the people and they're going to start to build a library here. But so
okay.
like my vision and goal is not to wait for any exterior like factors to dictate what books or what should be available. So if I'm able to build my own like collection, I can have it available for anyone that's close to me to be able to have access to them. Just like the concept of if you have a neighborhood that they have those little like bird box with the books in it. I forget what it's called. It's a community box.
Yeah, like the community, the little free library type.
Exactly, exactly. That is very beneficial. I want to have my books here so I can let my friends and my family know. So if anyone wants to, if my neighbor wants to come over and get a book to read, I can have it and give it to them. Because these books, they're all about knowledge, and we really need these books, especially now in the kind of social political like environment that we're in right now. So yeah.
Right. For sure. For sure. I'm sorry. One moment. I'm gonna close the door. I don't want my toddler to come in. I forgot.
Nope. All right.
Sorry about that. But so how many books, would you say you probably have, if you don't mind sharing,
Uh,
that you've accumulated in your library?
it has to be. Well, I'm not in the thousands yet, but um, I'll say almost 1,000. I have some in my like. I have a garage full of books I haven't even opened yet. So these are because I'm an English like major. So
Okay.
over
Okay.
4 years in college and whatnot, I've collected it. And even before that, back when I was maybe 10, and we were doing like scholastics and deal and stuff for that. James and the Giant Peach came out. Fantastic Mr. Fox. All these books, and I mean, I've been collecting since I was a kid, and I actually like won a short story contest like
Oh,
back.
wow.
So I've had that affinity towards literature, drawing. I wanted to be an artist, like like travel, and I did art history. So for me, the arts, both like literature and creative, like it's all like something that is like precious to me. So
Yeah.
even college, and I was doing my English like my honors program. One of my mentors, I was like, should I just go into creative writing? And he
Mm.
said, no, just stick with English because you learn a great deal with your with like grammar, syntax. Like you'll learn so much, and then if you want to get into creative, you can get into that aspect. So it was an eye opener. But I've been collecting books since then. So and I've had a chance to meet Sister Soldier. I met oh man, so much oh man, what's his name? He has a big afro, furry
Oh,
little.
Cornell West.
Yes, I met him
Okay.
too. But yeah, so I met him. He's a great thinker with one of my best friends who is a lawyer right now. So yeah, so definitely I've had a great time meeting amazing influencers like when I was in college. Yeah. So again, I, it's hard for me to keep track, but I know I'm not in the thousands yet. I would want to have thousands and thousands of books, but I'm almost there between what I have in my library and then in my garage.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Um, So, this question, I even hate to have to ask this question, but this is kind of a question I've had kind of not just with collectors, but with people who are readers in general. I don't know about you, but I've seen like a lot of these articles, and studies coming across my feed that talk about how we live in this post-literate society. Um, and, I've read these articles where certain college professors are saying that students are entering college now and they've not, actually read an entire book, from cover to cover. I read another one where a college professor was saying that the level of students is kind of so remedial that they've had to resort to actually doing a read aloud, reading the text to the students because the level of comprehension is just not there. I know I'm actually a fourth and fifth grade elementary school teacher myself.
Congrats.
And, I know it can be a struggle to get students to read, especially now that we kind of live in this internet driven, social media driven age where people's attention spans are just not what they're used to be. People want things in a tweet or a click or something. And so
Yeah.
actually sitting there and having to, have the patience and the focus to read, I know, unfortunately is an uphill battle. So, I guess my question is, and it makes it seem like reading, I've heard people say, reading now is almost like a radical act.
Mhm.
And so I guess my question is, first of all, how does this make you feel? Is this something you've thought about? Are there ideas you have on how we can increase reading habits or make reading something enjoyable? Again, I know you mentioned you're an English major, so you're reading all the time. But what are your thoughts on that and kind of any ideas on what we can do with that?
Yeah, it is introducing and first of all, I really admire like educators because you guys are like really doing an amazing job. I wanted to be
Oh,
one years ago. Like I think to start off like how I fell in love with books when I was a kid. It's always great to start kids off when they're young and build them up because they're going up against, like you said, social media. They're going up against gamings and iPads and a lot of things. And I really believe there's an attack pretty much on education, on literature, because all these arts, they kind of like make up a society that are aware of their social like surroundings. And without these books, without reading, uh, there's a saying called "lack of knowledge, my people perish."
Mhm.
And it's just without knowledge, without books, like a society is pretty doomed. So sometimes, like I think to help out, it's finding things that kids find interest in. And I really love how we live in an age where there could be a book to movie adaptation. So if they have that available, if there are like workshops, introduce both high school like students, grade school students to like um scholastics, bookshops, authors that they might take interest to, because they'll get bored easily, and it doesn't help that they do have a short attention span. So if they
Mhm.
have something that interests them, it can be that gateway for them to kind of like be curious about other books and to read. So that's what ties into my vision and goal, because a lot of the books I collect interest me, and I find ways that it will also interest kids with the way I write as well. And I have a children's book I'm thinking about reprinting because I had sold out.
Okay.
And then I have my novel for pretty much an all age read. So pretty much I'm trying to find ways to kind of like help out to get people back into the love of books. I can't tell you how much times I've read an article online that people will go into comments and say, hey, what does this article say? And then another person will be like, why don't you just open it and read what the article say? And it's like constant. I'm like, and people will make preconceived notion about what an article say without reading it and give false information. And then some people will have to like, so we are in that time, and it's very scary. And I think that also it could be intentional of like the society not advocating more to
Mhm.
young people to read. And it makes sense politically, like
Yep.
if people are more aware of what's going
Mhm.
on, then they'll be more um prone to like vote a certain way to
Mhm.
do a thing. So because if you look back historically to all our political like lead all our civil rights like movement leaders, those that were assassinated, killed for their beliefs, and it really lets you know the power of books. It can scare people. Like
Yeah.
a book can be mightier than a sword or a weapon. So the mind is that like is just like that. And a kid's mind is referred to in Latin as tabula rasa, a clean
Mhm.
slate, that they can absorb these things. And we are in that time that kind of like puts that fear that without these stuff, people are using Chat GPT to write essays and write like all these things at school. People are really, so it's like I've had people come up to me to help them write like like a cover letter or certain things, and I can go over it and I see that they did utilize ChatGPT, and then it kind of seems like a machine.
Mhm.
There's nothing like personal about that. You can tell it's a machine that is helping. So um,
Mhm.
going back to that question, I really think we are in that age, and with AIs, with ChatGPT, open AI, everything is really going against society, and it's sad because these kids being born in this new generation have been exposed to these stuff, and it's hard to do that. So I think my advice is for parents, educators, everyone to find something that a kid or the high schooler or even somebody in college might find interest to.
Mhm.
If it's a movie or if it's just um, anything at all. It can even be like a magazine or something that gets them to read and gradually get them interested in something. So yeah, I know it's a
Yeah.
long-winded part, but I think really like like me personally, I want to do my part. I
Mhm.
want to involve myself more in schools. I also have a goal to kind of like try and reach out to like hospitals with both kids in there, like in oncology, with my children's book, kind of like pretty much like living up to the expectations of like Mr. Rogers and people that are influencing people like Miss Rachel. All
Mhm.
what Miss Rachel is doing is also like beneficial to kids being able to like be educated through through her form of entertainment. So she's doing her part. I want to do my part with books to
Mhm.
find the kind of like silver lining that can get these get everyone back to reading again and enjoying that kind of reading. Yeah.
Definitely. That's excellent. And I agree. I think you just kind of need something that hooks a child. I always believe it only really takes just one book that can really hook them and motivate them to read. And, I definitely agree 100%. I think that, our society, unfortunately, doesn't place the value it
No,
should on reading and on education. And I wholeheartedly agree. I think that it's intentional,
it is.
so because you can, and I honestly feel like we're in this political situation we're in now because of the decline in
It,
educational standards and the
exactly.
decline in critical thinking.
Oh,
Last conversation I had with the last collector, I was saying, I don't know how old you are. I'm assuming I'm probably a lot older than you, but I grew up in the 90s. And I just remember as a kid, there being a lot more top-down push for reading. I mean, we had, on a t in a there was, Reading Rainbow on PBS. I remember watching, and
yeah.
when I was in school, there were all these programs. We had this program called Book It, where you could earn like this personal pan pizza from
I
Pizza
remember
Hut. And like,
that.
everyone was trying to get that.
I,
There were buttons, and you remember that?
that's
And
are incentives to get people to read. They're like, okay, if I can read this book by this time, I can get this reward. This and right
right.
now, the kids selling like the chocolate bars in schools and stuff like that. So I'm like, why
Mhm.
is that still there? That has nothing to do with books or love of books, but more like
Right.
so. I'm like, if that still is there for these like companies to make a little like change of these kids, then at least they could still have the books that these kids can read. Like the Book It program, like and the recent like defunding of PBS and the
Mhm.
cutting of all these stuff. So I that's why I'm saying that is everything is intentional from the banning of books, and that's what got me to get To Kill a Mockingbird,
Mm.
just so that
Yeah.
I can have a strong good copy that can like
Mhm.
withstand time. So yeah, so I'm always intentional about banned books as well.
Yeah.
'Cause they are afraid and they're scared, and that also impacts these kids. And we all know that now they're not putting value in education, healthcare, nothing. If it's not war related, nothing else
Right.
like can be helped. So I unfortunately it's up to us individuals to kind of like spread that love of books and love of reading, so we don't fail the kids. Because if we leave it up again, like how I said before, if we leave this to more external like um factors or entities, the kids will not get to where they need to get to. So it takes one person to make that influence in the lives of kids, high schoolers, or just one person. So that's what our goal is, to try and find something that, because they are fighting against a powerful force that is going against them. So I don't really blame the days that we live in that they're not getting more into books. It's more so what they're up against.
Mhm.
So if you and I know about critical thinking, we've read books that deals with psychoanalysis and all these like books, like it gives us that edge on with our age to be able to use that. And I'm glad that we lived in the 90s. We've been exposed to all of that that's something they couldn't take away from us, that we can give back to the kids that were born in the 2000s or late 90s that are not exposed to all these books. So I have let me actually see if I can find it. So, and the reason why I got this book here is that
Mm.
I find that a lot of history,
That's
like
a good
black,
one.
it is, because like black history is as washed down as any other thing in school. So I'm like, let me get things that will give the true like historical thing. So it's not enough to just read, but to read something that is true about, you know, like what we've gone through historically as a black community and race. So definitely I think we can like what we're doing right now with this interview and with what we're doing is a start to build a community, and what you're doing with your platform to invite everyone over that loves collecting books. You are also educating kids. You are pretty much doing an amazing job of
Well,
bringing everybody together, and it takes one person. Everyone is looking for the next Martin Luther King or the next, like, you know, Rosa Parks, all that stuff, but we don't know that each of us, they have given us their dreams to take that
yeah,
mantle and go on. We don't have to wait for someone in a suit or tux. We are who they dreamed about. So we
yeah.
stand on your shoulders to take it off to the next level. So it's our job to give these kids what our society is not giving them. The books they're not reading, to they love to write. So yeah, I really commend you again for what you're doing. Kind
Well,
of like
thank you, and thank you for what you're doing as well. And you know, you're a piece of this story and a piece of this um, you know, movement, if you will. I know, you know, and I'm glad that you mentioned how, you know, those who came before us set a blueprint for us to
yeah.
pick up and follow. And I think, you know, there also has to be warriors. I don't know if you know, saw the story of the woman, it's a white lady. I believe she was out of Alabama who recently she was a lot head of I think she was head of the I don't know if it was the local library or at a public school, but she refused to remove. It was like hundreds of different books that they wanted her, I guess, to remove. So she refused to do it. And so, you know, it resulted in them
I
firing
yeah,
her.
they let her go,
So
and
that
then they're trying to do a GoFundMe for her.
right, exactly, exactly. I think she's trying to fight it as well. But you know, I think that shows a lot of courage. You know, I think probably the area she's in, it's not like, you know, I live in Chicago, which is a very liberal, you
Yeah,
know, blue place, and there, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, are fine here that would not be okay in
yeah.
somewhere out in Alabama or, you know, certain places. And so to have someone like her who, if she was the head of the library, you know, that was, you know, that's a position of a little bit of power. And for her to actually take a stand to the point to where, you know, she was willing to risk job loss, you know, I feel like that is courageous, you
And
know.
yeah, and I'm sure to cut you short, to add
No,
to
no,
that,
no.
in the South, it'll surprise you how much like they weren't enough the Quakers and the abolitionists and people that lived there. They might not have been a great deal of them, but they have been advocating, you know, for our cause. And I recently acquired I don't know if you've heard of this book here. Let me see here. It's called let me see here. The
The
peculiar.
peculiar, oh yeah, by Stamps.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Kenneth
stamps.
Stamps.
So
Yes.
I've been
That's
trying
a
to get.
nice copy.
Yeah, I've been trying to get this book
Wow.
for time. So definitely, it goes in depth with it. I haven't had a chance to like crack it open, but when I read the synopsis, and I think they said that Dr. Martin Luther King used a sample of the book and in his work. I'm like, I have to open it because they do go in depth with that. And then adding to that, I have oh, this one just came in. Let me see here. I have all these. Just my apologies. I have all these books around here. Uh,
No, no, thank you for sharing these. I mean, I'm taking a mental note of like what I need to look for.
I recently just got this one here. It's
Oh,
called.
wow.
So I think
I've
so.
seen that one, but I have not picked that one up yet.
Yeah, so she draws the account of the actual individuals that lived around those times to tell their like stories.
Wow.
And yeah, so it kind of opens my eye that there are like how the lady is defending like these like banned books and stuff like that. There are individuals that would like stand against like oppression and all of that of the books. And that's what kind of gets us asking why are they banning books? Why? I mean, up
Mhm.
till now, this was not even, I know they've probably been doing it since time, but it's not as as like crazy as it is right now.
Yeah,
Uh, like, like defunding schools, banning books, and what's a threat with a book? Honestly,
right.
with what is going on with needing to feed children, with healthcare, why are the people that are supposed to lead the nation more focused on taking away books?
Mhm.
But that really, if that really shows you how powerful educating kids with books and reading and writing how it is. But I think that one of the last few elections, I think a lot of like young teenage voters like were very impactful with TikTok and all these stuff. So I think that also played a role to be like these kids are a threat to the powers that be. So let's get rid of these books and stuff. So I really think it is
Right.
a lot that is going on. But yeah, no, but definitely um getting these books and just putting more in our minds, it helps us to be able to understand how we can help kids, how we can help know what is really going on out there.
Absolutely. And I think, the powers that be know, an uneducated populace is
Hmm.
easier to control. Once you start reading, I mean, I'm, Frederick Douglass, I'm sure as you know, talked about this all the time. How knowledge is power and how when he learned to read. Oh, wow. Are those Eastern Press as well?
Yeah, this one here, it's My Bondage and My Freedom with Frederick Douglass. And it is a limited amount of books that they published of this one here. Let me
Hmm.
see here. It is They numbered it 376.
Wow,
So it's hard to, so I'm like when I seen it, I was like I have to,
for
yeah.
sure. Wow.
That
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, so when you mentioned it, like
Wow.
yeah.
And that one is his narrative right there.
Yes, that is the name
Okay.
here. So
Nice.
like,
Wow.
making sure I have like everything that you mentioned. I'm like, I have a copy of that here. Let me just show it to her. And again, like from his own account. Hmm.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. So, as you know, and this Frederick Douglass, I like to bring up a lot with my students. I look at him as kind of an exemplar of someone who was, you know, a slave and how his self-determination and how he learned to read and, how that set him on this path. And there was a clip released the other day where we heard, President Trump in a meeting saying we can't fund daycare because I don't know if you heard this because we're funding wars. So
Yeah,
this administration is being unapologetic about the fact that they're not going to fund education, which is really sad. So the woman and I'm sorry I don't this kind of impromptu comment don't have her name, but that was let go because of the banning of the books. Um, I think, you know, courageous individuals like her, I think unfortunately because and especially underneath these times where you have such an aggressive and
yeah.
hostile administration towards these things, people who are willing to kind of speak out and risk in order to save these books or to promote things, I think is really courageous, especially in spaces like I say, it's a lot I can do seated in Chicago. I'm not in Alabama or some
And
other places
yeah,
that
I
may
don't
be.
think anyone can live up there. Like, I mean, it's like I've always been wanting to go to every state and whatever, but those are the only two. But I think that there are still like wonderful people there that have been kind of like also like advocating. But it's just something that it's like it's been all these years, and it seems like there's always every generation there's always a counterproductive thing that goes on, not just there but even in like blue states, red states. It's almost seems like
Yeah,
we always have to protest and always have to say something. And I'm like, with AIs and technology, there's no excuse why the truth is not in your face. And
right.
there was one evening I was thinking that during the slavery days, like I know it was the norm to them there, but weren't people thinking that this is not right? Weren't people just being human, like decent, that this is a human person of a different race, It's just to whip and to, so I'm like, I'm always kind of thinking like that, that it amazed me how a whole society thought it was justifiable. Like it just really amazes me that even if a dog is to get hurt, the dog will be taken good care of. Yet you have
Right.
a person that can talk and read, and you see them as property. So it's just, it's always amazed me that, it's just a whole bunch of things that humans have. But then when I look at what's going on in our current time right now, I understand why people then felt that way. How people are easily susceptible to lies, to deception, to things without doing your own critical thinking and being afraid and scared at your grown age. I'm like, nobody is really doing your own critical thinking. Like adults, just the same. So it really amazes me. And what we have right now is our books, and what we have is the tools to be able to help everyone around us. As to people that hate others or racism, I think unfortunately that will be hard to like stop, because they'll always teach their kids, people always teach kids what to do, hate and all that stuff. So that can't we can't really like, it will depend on the individual to have an epiphany when they get older or things like that. But what we can do is continue on the fight, and I think it's something that will be an ongoing thing until the day of our Lord Jesus Christ. But it's still not giving up, and when I
Yeah.
read W.E.B. Du Bois, Social Black Folk, he talks about how we are like the star that that shines bright, and far often with all of our talents, all our skills, everything that we have, the world don't really get to see it before a typical Black person like will pass or gets lost, like, and I'm just using my own terms here, like gun violence or being impoverished or something. But there's a lot of talent and a lot of creative things and all that stuff. And it's that focus to harness that kind of like a bright light in each and every individual that we come across, to make sure that their light does shine, does brighten, and get to make a difference before we transition. So I think it's sorry, with what you're doing, with what I'm doing, we're like that song, "This Little Light of Mine." We're gonna let it shine. We are shining with shining our knowledge, our love of books, our writing, everything that we have. What you're doing with the kids, what I'm doing with my books, and what to do with the kids. Like, I don't know how people cannot have empathy
Yeah.
towards everybody. And I really do believe that the reason why there's a threat with they see that our books as threat is because of that, because of it showing people that there's ways to love, there's ways to, like, there's books for pretty much everything, right? So there's ways to do everything, like, so definitely it's our way to let pretty much like everyone else know, of that love, and to share that love. So if James Bond didn't do that, we wouldn't be sitting here right now talking about him. If
Right.
Martin Luther King did not do that, Malcolm X, if everyone did not do their work and publish and write or read and debate and talk about it, it will not go. And so, like, let's keep doing what we're doing and stuff like that, and just kind of reading our books and sharing our love of it. Hmm.
Right. For sure. For sure. Um, do you have any, what I call, I guess, book collector mentors or others you admire, consult with, or part of your community as a collector and a reader? I mean, these individuals could be alive or they could be deceased. I know you mentioned a lot of, people who kind of have influenced you. And even if they're not collectors per se, are there individuals that kind of have influenced it can even be your thinking or influence kind of the knowledge that you might seek out that count as your part of your mentors, if you will?
Hmm. Um, Most of my mentors are deceased pretty much, like, but I was
And
influenced.
that's okay, you can mention those individuals as well.
Uh, Before I get to them, there was one young man when I was in college that did make a difference to me. Just, right, he didn't have to do much, but I was inspired by how intelligent he was. He was one of my TAs in my first and second year, and they say that there's one person in college that will kind of like make a big influence or impact you in how you perceive things. And he was like, when I say book smart, he was on the next level. Like, he was like critical thinking. He was just above whatever. So I look up to him, and that's what got me through like school based off on I'm like I want to be like this guy one day. Like I think last he was being he was an associate prof or like doing his dissertation. I forget what was going on, but pretty much like everyone around me I look up to that have made an impact and stuff, whether him or like James Baldwin. We have Ralph Ellison, pretty much all our great civil rights like leaders and everyone that has taught us like to like always like fight and do the right thing. So even through my books, all my messages and everything is like positive and how to do things. And I wrote a lot of like short stories I haven't published yet, but that were influenced by like reading like James Baldwin, going to meet the man, his short story, and reading other authors. So definitely, I think for me, James Baldwin is top there. Watching his interviews, how he handles his interviews, his works, and it gets me to kind of get a sense of who he was, what he's been through, both as a kid growing up, to having to fight, work hard, to travel outside, and there's so much stuff that he's been through to get to
Mm.
where he is. That kind of like let me know that I can't be comfortable where I am. I have to always keep rising above my situation, because he could have been like, my mom and dad were this. Let me be a preacher and
Mm.
preach, or let me work this menial jobs and support my family. And he did what he had to get to where he is right now, and he made an impact, not just being in a small house, but going to like France, traveling, coming here, being part of the civil rights movement, meeting all these like prominent individuals. There's a writer. I had one of his books. He wrote the Confessions of Nat Turner.
Mm. Mm.
I forget his name.
Styron.
Tyron, yes,
Yeah.
autograph book I also, and I read how he took in James Baldwin
Mm.
around the time that people didn't want to really like associate with him and stuff. And then James Baldwin even went through his manuscript with the book that he was about to write, and he says that you're gonna have a hard time with this book, because both the black community and the white community will kind of come at you, because you are writing in the thoughts of a black person of Nat Turner, and then around that time too. So definitely like just seeing how James Baldwin was able to get to different places and do what he did, it kind of puts him on that pedestal for me as like a mentor. And I think a mentor can still mentor you even if they're still not here, just by the work they've left behind and their like blueprint that can always carry you to the next point in life.
Right, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What advice would you give others that want to build a book collection?
Mhm. Like start off with something you're passionate about, books and authors and everything, because that's what I did. Some people might like want to buy like, and I think that is the core of most of the collectors. You get pretty much what you're really like looking for. and
Mhm.
i and i even brought that up because there are some people that collect books based off on, let's say with the Eastern Press, right?
Mhm.
Some folks have the 100 greatest books or collectors, whatever, on your bookshelves, but after a while they start to put them back on sale, right? They're like, I'm like, I'll never sell so you have to collect books that it'll cost an arm and a leg to want to give that book away, because you love
Mhm.
that book so much that you don't see it giving that. So collect those books that you won't put on the market, that will make a big difference. That will help you to be able to kind of keep building your library, keep influencing others around you. So if you have families or friends that are interested in your books, you can let them read your books, and not something that can collect dust elsewhere. So yeah.
For sure. So are there books that you're currently reading right now or that are on your TBR?
Yeah. Oh man, that I've got a lot. Like I have so much books like around me. I'm just trying to like figure out what because I recently got like 4 or 5 books within the last week. Like I was showing you how I still have some in a collection. So these are
Right.
the I read was this one here, Half a Yellow Sun.
Oh, yes. Have you seen the movie for that?
I have not yet. I'm gonna watch
Okay.
it. I think it's with Chiwetley from 12 Years a Slave.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I'm gonna
Exactly.
that one. This one here is signed by her.
Oh, wow. Where'd you
Yeah.
find that one? And that I've never seen a cover like that. Is that like a UK edition? I haven't
Yeah,
seen that
yeah,
cover.
Yeah, this is a UK edition because yeah, it was
Okay.
UK edition, and it came with. Let me see. Do I have it here? Yeah, it came with this here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So and then
Where were you able to find that at?
I found this at this quaint bookstore in Boston.
Oh, wow. What a
Yeah,
find.
yeah. It was
Y- And it's so
hard.
you heard that she lost her one of her twins.
I
Um
read that and I was so heartbroken because kids are
yeah.
this, and to just go there to have fun with your family, and that is just and like really that's another topic for discussion. Hospitals in Africa in general. Like I've known a lot of people that have perished once they went there and stuff, and they have like great like systems and everything there. Like a lot of the doctors and people are educated abroad, but most often, like but I guess it can happen anywhere. But it's just sad that
Yeah.
it had to be there, like I really admire her work. This one here, and she was also influenced by Chinua Achebe. Uh,
Mm.
and speaking of Chinua Achebe, let me show you something else. Uh,
Okay.
I have this here.
Oh, wow.
Ant Hills of Savannah, first edition. Guess
Mm.
guess who signed it?
Wow. Oh
Or
my goodness.
yeah, Chino Achebe.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
he
That is something. And
uh,
that has been preserved in
yeah.
very nicely as
And
well
that's
for
they
first edition.
have this little tag here from like 1988.
Wow.
Yeah, first edition. So
Wow.
I was trying to get things fall apart, but I'm like, yeah, I don't have over $1,000 for this. Yeah. So
Wow.
definitely I have a lot of like I love African literature. I love British literature. I just found my Hamlet book here.
Oh, oh, that's a nice copy.
Oh yeah, it's yeah, she's yeah,
Beautiful cover.
and look at how the design on let me see here. See here. So they have this here of William
Oh,
Shakespeare,
wow.
and then yeah, so
That
definitely
is that Franklin or Eastern Press? Oh, wow. That's a
yeah,
beautiful book.
yeah. She's this is an Eastern Press.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, like yeah, so definitely I have so it is just like for me, just something I'm passionate about. I have all around me and stuff like that. And this is my I know we're kind of going off topic, but just kind of eager showing
Oh, yeah.
thing. Yeah, like when I met her, yeah, she let me see here, yeah, she signed off on it for me.
Yeah, yeah, I've met her a couple of times too, and she signed. My favorite book personally by her is No Disrespect. I don't know if you have that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I have all her books, yeah.
Yeah, she's I like Sister Soldier. So I know you've talked about the books you've written kind of in some of your answers, but if you can kind of just give us more detail on, the titles of your books, what they're about, and how people can get your books or follow your work.
Yeah, so my novel, I have it here. It's called Family of Assassins. Let me see here. So Family of Assassins, and it began with a betrayal.
Mm,
So pretty much it's been a work in like 10 years, and
mm,
just working it through like school and everything, and having to have it published. But it's about a character named Kojo Chekovich, who is a Russian, and he happens to get recruited by the CIA when he comes over to the US for his master's. And anyway, he learns that his father, who was an educator at Boston University, was assassinated by his government, by the
mm,
then KGB. So he kind of gets into this kind of like quest to kind of look towards that, and then he kind of like falls in love with a lady and has a kid with her. She works for a different agency for the FSB, and so it's a book that kind of takes you through like deception, betrayal, because she did discover his allegiance to the CIA, and then they do have a child together. So now the whole like premise of the book is for him to try to go to save his daughter from her in Russia, because she doesn't like her daughter. So the daughter
mm,
is in a bind. So he has to kind of like to like navigate from leaving the CIA, being like monitored, to going to save his daughter. So I take you through like St. Petersburg, Moscow, and Russia. I take you through New Mexico. I take you through Amsterdam to Ghana to different parts of the world in the book as you discover like the authors like my love of like traveling of getting different cultures involved in my books because my character is of a mixed diversity of both Ghanaian and Russian, and through this book I learned a lot. um that like in Russia they used to have a university there that they used to bring people over to teach them, to give them a profession, to send them back to their country. So after Patrice Lumumba was assassinated, they renamed it Patrice Lumumba University. But going back to it, when I was doing my research for my book, I found a lot of things about different like locations and different things. So again, it is a book that will take the reader through a lot of like educational like diversities, and also kind of like there's love in there, there's friendship in there, there's a lot of different things to like kind of like understand when you read my book. And I have a map of different locations in there that people might be interested in to learn about different cultures in there. So yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. So that is your book, is it uh being sold on like Amazon, or they people need to go directly through you to get
um
a copy or
yeah, so people have to go directly through me. I
okay.
was thinking about Amazon, but I want to finish building my like website. But like what I've been doing right now is trying to like do what people are doing on eBay or different kind of websites and stuff. So when I get my orders, I'll just like ship it. Right now they have something called a media mail,
Okay.
where you can just use a media mail. It comes with a tracking and you get a copy of your book. But I find that it's a game changer. Again, this is like being this book in particular is being influenced by like the works of like John Grisham or James Patterson, kind of like a legal thriller. But I write it from pretty much like our perspective, because I noticed there isn't much like Black authors that write much about these kind of things. So I
Mhm.
make sure I take you through different cultures and ethnicities. And as a spy assassin, it's a whole different take. And from the reviews I've gotten from those that have read the book, they're like they can see it as a movie. So it's just
Mhm.
something that I want to do something different from what I read and take it to be one of the few like Black authors that can write a legal like a spy thriller. There's like
Yeah.
Alex Cross, right? But Alex Cross
Mhm.
is but I do want to write be the author that will create it for pretty much our people and the broader like scope. So definitely it's a game changer.
Wow, wow, that's excellent. Well, I have to get your information to get a copy of it. And I also want to, as a thank you for you doing this interview, I self-published this book. It's called The ABCs of Black
Wow.
Bibliophiles. So
Wow.
it just kind of goes through different Black book collectors.
Wow.
Um, and so it's, kind of a thin book, but
Wow. Congrats.
I it's just kind of, of course, being my passion,
Wow.
I self-published this and like some coloring books for Black book collectors, but those who interview always give this just as, you taking up giving your time. So I'll message you and get a mailing address, for you so I can get this in the
I'll have
mail to you.
a bookshelf, next to my wall of excellence.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well, I
appreciate it.
really appreciate you, taking the time to, do this interview, and you have, shown so much. I mean, I've taken a mental note of,
Likewise.
things I'm about to go on eBay and
Hey,
like look
hey,
myself.
stay in touch. Like if there's anything, like just let me know, and just likewise, that is the beauty of like building connections, network to kind of like help each other share things and get just kind of like be a fellowship and a community and stuff like that. So that's why I said I appreciate what you do. And anytime you post things, and then I see other like-minded individual, like I forget his name. There's one gentleman that also, what's his name? He's on there most of the time, and then I'll just like look at his work and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm also getting influenced by other people, on your platform, and pretty much everyone on there. So keep doing that, keep
Oh,
building
well,
that
thank you.
and doing this, because we need more of this. Who knows, one day you'll have this big like podcast, and so just keep doing that, educating these kids, because definitely you're doing your job in the classrooms. And after I get my kids book, my kid's book. I have one somewhere like downstairs, but it's called The Adventures of Bobo and Jojo.
Ooh,
So when I wrote that, the amount of kids that came and just a smile on your kid. If you go, I'll send you my Instagram link. If
okay,
anyone wants to get in touch with me about the books, BK Harvey writes. It's
okay,
handle, and you'll see like pictures of me and the kids, and all the people that have the book, BK Harvey writes. So definitely,
okay,
um, it like I'm also trying to do my part with the kids outside the classrooms, and of recent like being in healthcare as well. The reason why I mentioned hospitals and that is that I see a lot of things going on sometimes with kids, and
yeah.
it's emotional sometimes. So I'm like, if our leadership can help these kids, like I want us as a community to get somewhere that we can have literature, have toys, that we can interact with these kids. That helps build that kind of like love and bond, that we're not just kind of like saying things but doing things, being doers of the word, like like so I really have that passion with kids. And yeah, because so definitely I love what you're doing because you directly work with these kids too. So
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll your Instagram handle, I'll also put it in the notes for this video. So when people watch it, if they want to reach out directly to you to inquire about, how they can get any of your books, they can do that as well. And when you do put the children's book back into print, definitely reach out. I want to get a copy, for my own kid.
and I have another book to add to that, Bojo the Silly Little Monkey. So it's, yeah, but you
Okay.
love it. It's like fully illustrated, and yeah, like I had a great time doing my books signing. So definitely when it comes out, I'll definitely let you know.
Yes, please. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much. I appreciate this. Is there anything, you wanted to say but as we, close out or
Oh
anything?
no, you have honestly, like I said, like all kudos to you as well, like for hosting and I'm doing this. So I am grateful for this opportunity to share the love of my books. And yeah, I have too much books, but yeah, I just love the book. Yeah, hopefully like the next time I can have my like my study in order and everything, and then yeah, just kind of show off a bit. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
love the book.
sure. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I need to organize a little better, but thank you. And,
You're welcome.
and thank you for posting in the group. And I hope, when you get that time, maybe you can post,
Yeah,
some of the things you showed
yeah.
today in the group.
Those,
Definitely.
yeah, not to have them out. I'll take some of the pictures and I'll post them. Oh, I forgot to show you this one here before I let you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Of me.
Tanahashi.
Yeah, so I'm just reading. Yeah, anyway, I won't waste much of your time because I have endless books and it will not. Yeah, so I know. Thank you so much, and I know this is not the last. We will definitely meet again on here and everything,
Yes.
chat. I have a book signing coming up like locally actually in the next couple weeks. So excited about.
Okay.
I'll keep you guys updated and maybe post a picture
Yeah.
at the group page as well. So
Yeah, definitely. And maybe even put up the information. I don't know. Someone
yeah,
in the group could be in your area and
that is
may be able to come out. So please definitely, post it in the group.
okay.
Somebody, may be interested and can make it out.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
definitely do. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good rest of the weekend.
it. Take
All
care.
right. Bye.
Bye.